This is aisle 42. The conversation you're about to hear taps into something that I think is really, really important, and that's the idea of food as medicine. If you're looking to reduce unhealthy food cravings, ramp up your gut health, reset your digestion, boost your energy, reduce your mental fog, improve your sleep, shore up your immunity, or detoxify your body, then you're going to love this functional beverage-packed discussion. In this episode of Aisle 42, I talk with Devin Powell from Pulp Press, and we chat about the power of nutrient-dense cold-pressed juice. We talk about organic fruits and vegetables and the impact that probiotics have on our body. Devin walks us through the importance of drinking fresh-made juices and smoothies that are safely made using high-pressure processing, not heat, and free from preservatives, artificial flavors, and colors. We also talk about their plastic project and how they're radically working to reduce the environmental impact of their operation, removing 10 bottles worth of plastic from ocean coastlines with every order that we make. So let's get to the good stuff for your mind, body, and the planet. The future of the grocery store is brighter because of people like this. Here's Devin from Pulp Press. Devin, your product is amazing. It does an amazing job of reducing mental fog, of ramping up my energy in a very gentle, loving, big hug sort of way. I love what you guys make. Thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Hey, Corin, I appreciate you having me. It was great to see you the other week at the CHFA on another podcast, and I'm just elated to be on yours now. So, you're on the other side of the desk, and so I'm excited to kind of hear what you have to say.
That's awesome. Yeah, being on the other side of it, this is the hard part. Asking the questions is the hard part.
For sure.
I don't know if you feel like you have the easy job. I don't know, but it's great to be together. And I want to kick things off with a question that is about the future. If you were to imagine the perfect grocery store of the future, what would it look like?
That's a great question, because you're going to get a lot of different answers from a lot of different people about what it looks like, because we're all a little bit selfish, I think. So the perfect grocery store would just be full of Pulp Press, and everyone would just buy that exclusively.
No one has said that directly. No one has said that so boldly. Yes, so good for you. Good for you.
But you know what? The short answer, made a little bit longer maybe, is having products that consumers are comfortable purchasing, knowing that what they're putting into their body is actually good for them. There's so much smoke and mirrors out there in the consumer products industry where you're told something's good for you, and then you dig a little deeper and you're like, oh, maybe that's not as good for me as I thought. And I think we need to see a grocery store that lives and breathes quality before worrying about top or bottom line revenue. It's like, are we providing a good customer experience and providing products that customers can feel comfortable and confident buying, knowing that when it actually gets into the nitty gritty of their body, that it's actually healthy. And you start seeing some ingredients on natural health products that are words that you find difficult to pronounce. When you buy Pulp Press, you're buying things like apples and bananas and mangoes and celery and cucumbers. There's really no big words that you struggle to pronounce unless you can't read French, in which case maybe you just turn the bottle around to the English side, you'll be fine. But, there's no ingredients that you really struggle to pronounce, whereas you see some people out there that consider themselves natural products. And there's some really funny ingredients on there, and you're like, is this good for me? Or like, why does, this orange drink require yellow dye number 4? And it's like, we need a grocery store that's really conscious about what goes on to an ingredient panel and kind of what goes into the product that you're buying. And I think that's the direction I think we should be heading. And I think there's a lot of grocery stores that are headed that way. But I think also the buying habits in the grocery world is maybe that the buyers aren't as educated as they need to be about what to look for on ingredient panels. They think that something, like I said, is something's healthy for them, but really there can be some implications of those ingredients down the road, right? So I think buying things that are good for you is where we need to be going. And I think we're on our way, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah, there's things like plant-based or vegan. Someone posted the other day on LinkedIn, they're like, oh, this is accidentally vegan. And that's because the chemicals in there are just like, there was so much stuff in there that just like, well, it's vegan, but it's really just, it's full of stuff that's unpronounceable and isn't necessarily good for you. Maybe it's allergen free, but that's its primary benefit.
Exactly.
Not so good. So let's get into it here. Like, for people that don't know Pulp Press as well as I do, what are you guys making and what's your favorite product?
So Pulp Press has been around since 2014, and we are one of Canada's largest what we call functional beverage manufacturers. So we create product lines of cold pressed juices. We have vegan smoothies that are actually vegan smoothies, probiotic hydrators, and these little 70 ml, 2.5 ounce elixir wellness shots, which are really trendy right now. And you can find us at grocery stores across Canada and into the US. And we call them functional beverages because they provide a function. They're not just, yummy sugar water. They're products that have ingredients in them that are really beneficial for your body. We use things like spirulina, activated charcoal, hemp protein, things that are good for boosting your immune system, like turmeric and ginger and lots of lemon juice and things like that. And so they're functional. When you drink them, they don't just taste good, but they're actually good for you. So that's the function that they provide. We have one juice, which is my favorite juice, called Beta Blaster. And it's carrot, lemon, ginger, beet, and apple. And it has 420% of your daily vitamin A. It has, over 100% of your daily vitamin C. Just, you look at the nutritional panels and you see these big claims in the nutritional panel, and it just shows how functional they are for you. Again, a lot of people are deficient in certain vitamins, and it's really just because they're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, whether it's whole fruit and vegetables in their raw form or drinking a pulp press or cold pressed juice. Having these things in them just really provide a good service to your body. And so that being said, Beta Blaster is my definite favorite. The turmeric and ginger shots and the elderberry shots, big fan of the wellness shots. Elderberry is a natural antiviral. Ginger and turmeric are good for inflammation and immune boosting qualities and things like that. So drinking a lot of the wellness shots lately because, again, I travel quite a bit for work. So you're shaking hands, you're on planes, you're presenting, you're demoing, and
You're licking door handles, all that stuff.
exactly. The last thing you want to do is get sick and be down and out for, a weekend. So a lot of the shots going down these days.
That's good. Yeah, I would consider myself a heavy user of like turmeric shots, ginger shots. That's sort of my jam for sure. I don't know if you're familiar with the comedian Brian Regan, but he's got this bit about, juice people down the juice aisle, and it's so boring. I love how Pulp Press really has leaned into making juice fun to drink. It's all these different formats, all these different consumption occasions. It's really remarkable. Let's talk about your ingredients. You source as much as you can local ingredients. Obviously, you have organic ingredients is really important to you guys. You're pounding out, like in a month, you're pounding out hundreds of thousands of units. This sounds really hard to do, to buy like local and organic ingredients for the volume of fresh juice that you're making. Talk to us about these ingredients.
Our manufacturing facility is based out of Quebec City. We do our very best to source Quebec and Canadian grown products whenever and wherever we can. So a very large percentage of our ingredients are exclusively sourced in Canada. And that comes down even to like our bottles and our caps and our labels and things like that are exclusively sourced within Canada, wherever possible. Again, we use ingredients like pineapples and mangoes and certain things that you obviously can't grow year round in Canada or can't grow in Canada at all. And we will source those elsewhere. But we have a big push on really sourcing Canadian wherever possible. And in, like you mentioned, in the volume that we're producing in, we can go through several truckloads of apples, several truckloads of pineapples and cucumbers every month. Like you said, we're producing hundreds of thousands of bottles every month. And to source enough ingredients we have 15 different SKUs that are active in retail. We have almost 30 SKUs that are active across our marketplace channels, like our website. And, sourcing enough produce, organic produce that meets spec as well. So we're talking, it has to be certified kosher. It's got to be certified allergen free. It has to have third-party audits done and everything to make sure that we're focusing on quality products, not just because it's organic doesn't mean that it's, good, like high quality, very high yielding, sourced ethically. So we have third-party audits on all of our suppliers as well. So finding these, they're very limited. Again, we only have maybe 2 or 3 suppliers per ingredient that we source. And there are times that we run into supply issues and we have to really either pivot or just really make sure that we're on point with our forecasts and velocity planning to be able to source that volume of organic produce every week, because everything's made to order as well. So when someone like, a Sobeys or a Metro or a Farm Boy are placing an order, it's not already sitting finished in a warehouse ready to be filled. We're taking that purchase order, we're sending it to the manufacturer. We're saying this is our production for the week. It gets made, it gets sent off, and it lands at that Sobeys DC, a week or 2 after the PO was placed, fresh from production. And so when you're sourcing these ingredients on a weekly basis, you can really run into some bottlenecks or some challenges. But we overcome. We have a great team. Pulp Press has only 7 employees.
What? That's
We have a
amazing.
large community of support behind us, including brokers and distributors and manufacturers and things like that. But one of our 7 team members is a supply chain logistics coordinator, Terry, who is always on the ball, and he's making sure that he's working closely with our manufacturer to make sure that we have enough ingredients for the forecasted production that we're going to have to use, right? Because
I would not want his job.
yeah, it's not something that many people can do, and Terry finds joy in it, so we let Terry run with it. But it's very difficult. So one of our few dedicated team members is strictly involved in that procurement and production management.
I love it. Okay, let's nerd out on, explain to me the value of cold press, that process. What is it? How important is it to the nutrients and the vitamins and the minerals that you guys are trying to pack into these bottles of juices and shots?
Yeah, so at Pulp and Press, we actually use 2 really innovative processes, not one that everybody uses, and that's cold pressing coupled with HPP or high pressure processing. And the 2 working together allow us to have a very nutrient vitamin rich product without, damaging the shelf life on the product as well. So when you cold press something, again, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's taking a very large cylinder or a very large press that's very, very cold, and it's squishing down the produce, and you're extracting all the juice out of it. And that's where all the vitamins and nutrients live. We're removing a lot of the pulp and a lot of the fiber and a lot of the protein through that process to just give a really clean, nutrient vitamin rich product. Now, when you cold press something, again, because you're using the cold pressure, you're not losing those vitamins and nutrients, as opposed to, say, the alternative of when you masticate something or blend something where it creates heat through friction. You're burning away a lot of the vitamins and nutrients. So think about it when you use your Ninja or your Vitamix at home, you throw all your kale and spinach and orange and bananas and apples in there. The minute you turn the blender on, you're creating heat through friction, and you're losing a lot of the vitamins and nutrients in that process. Again, you're maintaining a lot of the protein and fiber, but you're losing a lot of the good stuff when you make those smoothies or shakes or at home yourself in your blender. And so by cold pressing it, you're maintaining a lot of those vitamins and nutrients. Now, with that, great. Now we have this really nutrient-rich juice that's going to last in your fridge for maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe, if you're lucky. And if you ever juiced before, you always know that you make way too much or not enough. And so it's better to make too much than not enough. And so you're left with this juice that's like coagulating or separating in your fridge. And then after a day or 2, you look at it, you look in your fridge and you're like, that looks disgusting. I'm not touching that. So we couple our cold press process with HPP or high pressure processing, which a lot of the high end large cold press juice companies use this across North America. What it uses is what's called isostatic pressure or cold pressure to get rid of things like yeast and mold and bacteria and things called mesophils and robocolonies and all these bad things that, say, make your banana turn brown as soon as you peel it and put it on the counter, right? I've got 2 kids, Niall and Callan, 3 and 5 years old. And they're forever just opening a banana, taking a bite and leaving it on the counter. And it turns brown within, 5 minutes of being left out. And so this HPP process removes a lot of the yeast and mold and bacteria, and it deters the growth of new yeast and mold and bacteria through this isostatic pressure or cold pressure, which helps extend the shelf life. Now, couple that with a bit of food science of balancing the pH through use of lemon juice and lime juice and grapefruit juice and just citrus fruits in general, we've managed to get a ridiculous, 6-month shelf life or refrigerated shelf life on all of our products, while still maintaining a super, nutrient dense, nutrient rich product that's super consumer friendly. So that's again why offering at food service or mass groceries comes really, really easy for us, because we have this long shelf life without sacrificing the quality of the product.
That's right. And it stays in it's merchandised in a cold case in the grocery, correct?
Yeah. So once the product is made, it has that 6 month of shelf life. Once you crack the bottle open and you expose it to oxygen, expose it to air, you might see 3 or 4 days of refrigerated shelf life. If you leave it out on your desk or your counter at work, maybe you'll see 3 or 4 hours of ambient temperature shelf life. And that just shows how volatile fruits and vegetables are, that if it's not kept cold and it's not kept, away from the air, from oxygen, it can spoil very quickly. So it is a very volatile product as well.
Amazing. Now, you're not using any preservatives, any artificial flavors or colors. Your ingredients, when looking at the label of many of like your products are just like there's like four things in it. That's it. Like it's just so simple. But talk to me about like the shelf life when we're talking about fresh juice that I can buy that you made, 3 months ago. That seems, oh, and your people are buying this stuff off your website. Like a lot of people don't buy fresh juices off someone's website. So shelf life must be just a constant challenge for you guys.
It is. And again, like having that 6 months of refrigerated shelf life has been huge. But on the retail side of things, when you start working backwards, first it's got to ship to a distributor, then it's got to ship to a grocery store, then they've got to inventory it, then they've got to put it out on shelf, but they've got to sell through what they already have. A lot of cold pressed juice companies struggle with a short shelf life. Notoriously, this industry has a very short shelf life associated with it. By the time it gets to the retail shelf, it might only have 10 or 15 days left. So having a longer shelf life just kind of mitigates that risk of a retailer offering our product, because even by the time it lands on the shelf, products right now are still into March, April, May with refrigerated shelf life on it. So it kind of takes that concern away. But it took us a long time to get there. When we started the company in 2014, it was like 3 to 5 days. We were cold pressing and then in the original founder's kitchen. We moved to a smaller co-packer that was not using HPP, and we were just using natural preservatives like lemon juice and lime juice and grapefruit juice to get maybe 10 or 15 days. And it took a long time because also in this industry, you can't just, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then it's a duck. If it tastes good and looks good and smells good, it's good. That's kind of like the rule of thumb you'd like to go with. But you have to have extensive lab testing that shows, aerobic colonies and salmonella and yeast and, mesophiles and all these things to make sure that they're all in check. Your pH has to be balanced. And if all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, well, then you can make the statement that your product has this shelf life. And all these tests cost money and all these tests take time. And it's formulating, the recipe down to a T, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get that shelf life that we've gotten to, and it's been huge for us. And especially growing in the natural product space, it's unheard of.
Yeah, that's unreal. Okay, so I did some homework around juice cleanses, and let's just say the internet served up a myriad of opinions, bold opinions, robust opinions about good, bad. You guys do like juice cleanse kits. Obviously, you're in the juice business. Talk to me about juice cleanses. What are people saying? What are consumers saying about what they're looking for when they're trying to go through a kind of take their health a little bit more seriously and kind of go through maybe a program or something around using juice to help them feel better? What's your take on the whole gig?
Yeah. So the biggest problem was, years and years and years ago, juice cleansing got a really bad shtick because there was people out there making claims that it was going to cure this, make you skinny, cure that. And that's really not the case and really not the things that we try to encourage people to do a juice cleanse for, right? The reason we should be doing cleanses is to give our body, give our liver, our kidneys a bit of a break from having to process protein and fiber and all the different things that go into your body that probably shouldn't. Alcohol, tobacco, heavy metals and toxins and things like that go into your body through processed foods and fast foods and things like that. By just giving them raw, organic, fresh fruit and vegetables in liquid form, so again your body doesn't have to break them down. It's just going in the easiest way possible, and it gives your body a chance to kind of regenerate. Again, your liver and kidneys are regenerative. They will bounce back if you give them the opportunity to, but most people don't give their bodies a chance to bounce back. So by focusing on filling your body full of raw, organic, fresh produce, lots of water, lots of rest for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, or longer if you're able to, it just gives your body a chance to kind of kick back to the origin state that it should be in. And that's really it. Again, there's secondary and tertiary benefits from doing a juice cleanse. Obviously, weight loss is heavily balanced by calories in and calories out. If you're doing a juice cleanse where all you're doing is consuming, 1,000 or 1,200 calories of fresh fruit and vegetables with a ton of water, you're going to burn more calories than you're going to put on during a juice cleanse. So secondary effects, weight loss, sure, great. Check it off. That shouldn't be the reason why you're doing a juice cleanse. The reason you're doing a juice cleanse is you had a really busy summer at the cottage where you were drinking every weekend and eating like steaks and burgers and whatever it is. And you're like, I feel like a bag of crap. I need something to kind of just reset. And that's one of the biggest motivators for people. It's also lifestyle change. Sometimes, again, you get into the habit of putting crap into your body. And some people need that drastic change where it's like, I need to quit cold turkey kind of thing, you need to do a juice cleanse, do like, a 3 or 5 day juice cleanse, give your body this shock that it's not used to. And, I think they say routine is built over the course of 2 weeks or something. And you need to be doing something regularly. So this is a good jumping off point for a routine change and lifestyle changes by doing something that's out of your comfort zone that your body will be put in shock from, and say, maybe this is something that I actually enjoy, or something that I really like how I feel during and after a juice cleanse. And so that's really the reason behind it is people struggle to eat, 4 pounds of fresh produce. Whereas one of our 12-ounce bottles has 3 to 4 pounds of organic produce pressed into every single bottle. So if you're drinking 5, 6, 7 of these a day, can you imagine the volume of produce you'd have to eat? Apples and bananas and mangoes and heads of lettuce.
Be a full-time job.
You'd be a full-time job just eating. You'd be like a horse. So when you put it into a convenient, 355 milliliter bottle that they can just casually drink throughout the day, pairing it with water, it's a really easy way to get all the vitamins and nutrients that your body needs to be able to recover from the crap that you've put it through for weeks, days, months, years prior to that. That's the real motivation behind doing it, is not necessarily the shtick of it's going to cure all your ailments and it's going to make you skinny and it's going to make you. But if you do it for the right reasons of, I just need something to make myself feel better because I've been treating my body like crap, that should be your motivation.
All right. Good answer. Okay. Let's talk about sustainability stuff. From an environmental standpoint, you guys are dedicated to the point that you've outlined very publicly a plastic project. So tell us about what you guys are doing to battle plastics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, at this point in time, we are using a BPA-free PET plastic bottle to package all of our products. And the reason we're doing that and not using an alternative to plastic, whether it be paper or Tetra, Tetra is mostly plastic as well, glass, is because of that HPP process that we use to basically remove all the bad things in the bottle. It puts the bottle under so much pressure that if we did it in glass or aluminum or things like that, it would just explode. And there'd be glass shards everywhere. And we wouldn't be able to have the type of high quality product that we currently have on the market. So right now, our best option is to use this BPA-free PET plastic bottle. And so knowing that, our carbon footprint is maybe not where we would want it to be if we were just producing, 250,000 bottles or more a month, we partnered with a program called Plastic Project through, it's called the ACE project, where we're intercepting 10 times our plastic output from entering the Earth's oceans. And that's just through different recycling programs that are available, mostly currently located in Africa, where a lot of the plastic output ends up or is from. So intercepting that plastic waste prior to it ending up on the coastlines or in the ocean, just through monetary donations to help kind of reduce our carbon footprint. And because we understand that single-use plastic, obviously not ideal. There's arguments to be said that single-use glass and single-use Tetra and single-use aluminum also are not fantastic for the environment. So we all need to do our part to obviously do what we can to reduce that impact that we're having. And so working with Plastic Project is one of our kind of environmental and sustainability efforts that we're taking to do that.
Yeah, very cool. And I know that you're using materials that are recyclable, non-toxic, and your insulation when you're shipping stuff from your website, your insulation is plant food?
Yeah, we have tons of different types of packaging for our direct consumer products. So we have 3 different 3PLs set up across the US. We have 2 here in Canada where we're shipping direct consumer typically next day. So if you order on Sunday, it ships Monday, it gets to you Tuesday. And the packaging that we use for this is so cool. Like we're using non-toxic gel packs to keep it cold, but the liners of these cardboard boxes that we're using, we have one in the US called Green Cell Foam. It's super cool. It's actually made out of corn. So it's fully biodegradable, they actually encourage you to use it as kindling in fires. They encourage you to put it in your grass and water it and let it, degrade into your lawn. It's really cool, 100% recyclable, biodegradable. And in Canada, we're actually using ones that are recycled paper, recycled cardboard packaging that's been, it's again, same thing, fully biodegradable, fully recyclable, zero impact. It's really, really cool. And again, back in 2014, we didn't know any better. We were using these big, bulky styrofoam containers. And within 12 months or so, we're like, this is messed up. We preach putting good things into our body. Well, we should be putting good things into our planet as well, or at least reducing the bad things we put into the planet. And so we made a pretty quick switch to these fully recyclable. And we're always looking at different new and innovative packaging types that are kind of different than a lot of our competitors, just to stand out. Like when we started using the corn packaging, people would, email us daily and be like, is this really corn? Like, is this really just fully recycled corn product? And it's just really cool to get those emails where people actually appreciate the packaging that you're using to ship them their product. Because we ship, again, thousands of orders a week, direct consumer across North America. And if we're using a styrofoam container every single time, I don't know how you'd be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of waste. So it's great that you guys are dedicated to offsetting what you can and leaning into the innovations as you're able. It is a journey, and not every brand, like brands can't do everything all at once. It's very expensive to do these things. I was keeping an eye on a brand out of the UK that's come up with a snack bar that's wrapped in beeswax. So there's no awesome. I hope it works. Actually, I'm very curious to see if it works, but not every brand's able to do that. And it's obviously a very specialized niche play, but these types of innovations in their birthplace, so when they get started and when brands start to use them, it's an important part of the process. So always kind of leaning into those ideas and changing things up is so important. Where can people find your product, and where can people learn more about Pulp and Press?
Yeah, I mean, in Canada, we're located at all major grocery stores, kind of coast to coast. So you can find us at your local Sobeys, Safeway, Farm Boy, Metro, Loblaws, Longo's, Healthy Planet, Goodness Me, a lot of your independents, coast to coast. You can find us. We're normally in your produce section in the fridge with blueberries and strawberries and things like that, or near your kombucha if you're into that. And so you can find us at most grocery stores. You can hop online at pulpandpress.com. Either find a location near you through our locations tab, or you can order right online and it'll ship direct to your home. Again, we don't just do cleanses and kits. We also just sell the straight bottles. There's an exhaustive list of products that are available on our website that may not be readily available in retail either. So like our line of smoothies and probiotics may not be available at every retail store that you shop at, but you can definitely find them online. And again, they ship to your door within 48 hours of receiving the order typically. Yeah, you can kind of find us everywhere. We've been doing this for a long time now, and we're really just starting to get our legs under us for over the last couple of years. And as a small business at the time, there's a lot of ups and downs, and more downs than ups in this industry, right? So we're kind of just getting our feet underneath us in the last couple of years, and really starting to saturate the retail market.
Love it. Good deal. Love what you make. Love the way you do it. Thanks so much for doing this, Devin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Aisle 42. Do yourself a favor. The next time you're thinking about kicking that brain fog or hitting that reset button, head over to pulpandpress.com. The wellness shots are my favorite, and their home delivery boxes are really awesome. If you want to learn more about this podcast or what we do here at Ethical Food Group to help sustainable food brands grow faster, go to ethicalfoodgroup.com. The link's in the show notes. Okay, that's it for me. I'm Corwin Hebert, and I'll see you in the future.